Hi guys, Marianne Cowan here from Pinery Paper Crafts, and today we're going to be making this beautiful card. This one design is Happy Easter, but we're going to use the same card design and make a birthday card with the same stamp set. And I'm using the stamp set You're Inspiring. It's a set from the Occasions catalog, and the Occasions catalog is you can buy the products until May 31st of this year. So there you can see the stamp set, You're Inspiring. It has other beautiful sayings in it as well. Kind thoughts for you, happy birthday, we'll be using that one today. You're Inspiring. And a beautiful one for Mother's Day that says, because of you, I am me, happy Mother's Day. And I know I'm a mom and I would love to receive that card. So let me show you how to put this card together. It's a very simple card, but one I think that has a real wow factor. We're going to be using color on color today, so the color I've chosen is Daffodil Delight, which made sense because we're coloring daffodils. So the base piece is 5.5 by 8 1/4, scored at 4 1/4. That's half. And then the second piece is 4 by 5 1/4. We're also going to be using Old Olive for the large oval, and Whisper White for the smaller oval. And I've just used 2 of the ovals from the framelit set. This is the second and third largest ovals. So I pre-cut those with my Big Shot. So we're going to get started, and I'll show you how to assemble the card. I'm going to start with my inking of my flower image, because it's good if it dries a little bit before we use the Stampin' Blends. I'm using my acrylic block, and I'm using Memento ink, black ink. It's the best ink to use when we're going to be using our stamping blends. When I have a large image, I like to stamp it upside down to make sure that I get good coverage on my stamp. That should be good. And we're going to stamp it a little bit off the edge of our oval, which is fine. We're still going to see enough of the flower and the stems that it will be quite beautiful. So there we go. We'll just set that aside to dry. And in the meantime, we will assemble part of our card. So whenever I'm using an embossing folder, especially our textured embossing folders, which are very deep and lifelike, I like to use the Tombow glue because I find that it sticks a little better. And after you've embossed, you can see that the back is quite different from the front. For this particular one, the front is the one I'm going to use today, but sometimes you might flip it over and find that the back is what you want to use. But for our basket weave that I kind of want to show through, I'm going to use it the way it was designed. So I'm going to put some glue on. I find sometimes with these thick embossing folders, it's even a good idea to put something heavy on it while it's drying, just so the corners don't lift up. The one thing nice about this glue is it's a little bit forgiving, so if you do have to move it once it's on, it's okay to do that. Whereas the fast fuse that I'm going to be using later, once it's down, it's down. So we'll just slide this over here. Just going to put that on top, kind of give it a bit of weight. And then we'll stamp out our saying. So that stamp set does come with 4 or 5 5 beautiful sayings, and we're just going to use the happy birthday one. So just light pressure. Perfect. And we'll just stamp that out using this punch, which is in the annual catalog. The annual catalog products in there are good until June 31st. So if there's something that you've seen in there that you were hemming and hawing and weren't sure that you wanted to get, make sure you get it before the catalog is over. Some of the items retire, some of them do carry over, but some of them retire and then you're not able to get them after that. So now I'm just going to take a couple, or maybe just one, because I did this one a little further over. I think I'll just put one on there. One little sparkly jewel that just adds a nice little touch to our card. And then we're going to go back in and do a bit of coloring. And we're going to be using the Stampin' Blends. The Stampin' Blends come in a variety of different colors, And they come in a light and a dark of the same color. So this is Daffodil Delight, the dark and the light, and this is Olive Green, the dark and the light. They also have 2 pen tips. This one is more like a marker pen tip, and the other one is more like a paintbrush. So we're going to use the paintbrush one for our daffodils. So I'm just going to go ahead and color in quickly. I'm sure you'll want to take more time to do your coloring, a little more precise than I'm going to do. So I'm just going through and using the light yellow. Sometimes for shading I find you can just go over a little bit with the same color to give it a bit of darkness, but we're going to use the darker one today. So I'm going to use the same paint brush end for this one. I actually have a daffodil in a pot in my kitchen, and it's this one where the interior of the flower is a little bit darker than the petals on the outside. So that looks beautiful. Now we're going to go through with our light old olive and just quickly color in the branch, or not the branches, the leaves. And you could go back after with the dark green and just go down the middle of the leaves to give it a little bit more definition. I'm not going to do that right now, but coloring is very relaxing. Oh, I forgot to do that little bud up here. So, oh gee, so we'll come back with, better slow down a little bit. We'll come back with the Daffodil Delight and just fill in that little bud. The hardest part with this stamp set is figuring out exactly what are the leaves. But I think that looks good. You can hear the snap from the lids. They do go on very tight because these are alcohol-based markers, so we don't want any air to get in. Alright, I think that looks good for the blends. It looks very pretty. Now I'm going to take my fast fuse and just add a little bit to the back, center it up. Perfect. And now I'm going to use some dimensionals to give this a little bit of a pop. As you can tell, I like having some dimension in my card between the embossing folder and then popping up the flowers. I think it makes it look really nice. I'm going to put it a little bit to the top so that we have room for our greeting at the bottom. And then for the greeting, I'm just going to snip off a couple of these little edge pieces that are perfect for this size of our sentiment. I'm going to pop those off. Bring my card back in. It's easy to line this one up straight because of the weave of the basket folder. And there you go. We have happy birthday and happy Easter. And I'm sure someone that you know would love to receive one of these in the mail. So thank you for joining me today. If you'd like to learn more about these and other projects, please visit my blog, www.pinerypapercrafts.com. Thanks, and I hope to see you again soon.